Right, so I'm just having a look around for tickets for the D-Day celebrations that are coming up. And you know what I'm getting at here, but I just think it's crazy to think we're coming up to the 80th anniversary. And I've got to start pointing out the delusions of people who really believe in the narrative. So the advertising here is what I'm getting at, obviously. We've got two mixed race looking kids. Obviously, people are going to cry racism straight away, but hear me out. Do you not think it's a bit weird that we apparently fought for our own independence, freedom, our own national identity apparently, and ever since 1948, every year it's been accelerating. We've been gradually replaced by Africans, Arabs, Asians, and there's no better example than this. So you've got someone who's, like a historical museum, and it's the advertising group that's obviously pushing it, use two mixed race kids, obviously instead of white kids. Obviously the demographic that fought in that war are the demographic you'll find that's mainly homeless these days, is out and out discriminated against in the RAF. For example, it wasn't so long ago, they openly said they don't want any more useless white men. So that's what them men stormed the beaches of Normandy for. Because the future belongs to the victors at the end of the day. If you win the war, the future belongs to you. So this is the future that they fought for. I know the men that were storming them beaches didn't know that, but ultimately, if you ally yourself with Soviet communism, well, guess what? Communism is going to slowly creep its way in, because the Germans, the National Socialists, were fighting against Soviet communism, and then the capitalist West decided to get involved and fight them from the West. So the Germans were pretty much fighting the whole world, that tiny little nation. And I only watched a video yesterday where, so believe it or not, this event here is in Germany. So yet again, the Allied forces, this is the future they fought for. So they were trying to defend Europe from not becoming multicultural. So essentially they fought for multiculturalism, they fought for multiracialism, they fought for LGBTQI, they fought for the levels of debt people are in nowadays. And also you got to remember capitalism, communism, the two sides of the same coin, owned by the same people. I know academics will strongly argue that, but hear me out. Advertising is obviously capitalist, but what they do is they use sort of communist values within the advertising. So for example, no longer do they use Europeans for advertising in Europe for products, they'll use Africans and Asians. That's why you watch the news, the adverts in between the news, and every single advert pretty much is diverse, shall we call it, or less white. So with regards to commemorating the 80th anniversary, I want to ask the people who are, because I'll be attending, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be there, I'll be photographing it, documenting it, but the thing is, in 20 years time, when the birth rates of what's going on now have completely flipped, so the Muslim population, which are having 6-7 kids, the Africans are having 5, 6, 7 kids, and the Europeans are having maybe 1 kid, if they're lucky, per family. When that has changed in 20 years time, when them kids have grown up and the demographics have really flipped, what are you going to be doing then? D-Day 100th anniversary? What, when we're about 40% white British? I'm sorry, but people need to start calling this out. If you can see it, you need to start calling it out. And the thing is, when I'm out and about, I speak to normies. I ask them, do you not think it's absolutely scandalous what's happened? And they agree. Most people, ordinary British people, and they ain't that stupid. They can see what's happened and they don't agree with it. Towns and cities being colonised by Muslims and Africans. And my favourite one, bear with me, this will be my last one, is if it weren't for that generation, we'd all be speaking German. I'll tell you what, you ring a council helpline, and you'll be met, first of all, you'll be met by artificial intelligence. You won't even be met by a human anymore. And also, they'll offer you about 30, 40 different languages. You walk down any high street in the UK nowadays of a big town or city, you barely hear anyone speaking English. Someone I know extremely well was the only English girl in the entire class. this is what they fought for. And watching the videos like this, it's shocking, what they went through to be completely betrayed. But the thing is, they weren't betrayed because the people that sent them to these wars manipulated them into thinking Germany was this big monster that they needed to go and save Europe from. But I think it was general pattern.